Hey all, welcome to the Institute and this week's favorite collection. We've been a little remiss with our favorite collections recently. Been very busy during the weeks, and this week I spent a lot of time in 115-degree heat, so I might be a little loopy. I have no idea what I might say during this video. We also have, I think, 3 sections to update left here in the Institute. The pink, which is miscellaneous, the the red, which is DC, and a huge section, and the middle, which we will get to as well, which is kind of a mishmash of things. So we're going to start with the pink today. We'll get that wrapped up. And up there on the top, we have some quarter scale. Actually, the Avatar is not quarter scale. That's a 6 scale figure. They just were really tall. And as we move down this way, we get into some NECA. Some other odds and ends. There's a cool T45 back there for you Fallout fans. There's a Bruce Lee quarter scale, Enter Bay, and then we're going to get into some gargoyles. I really like this line. I think they're doing a terrific job with it. I am still missing the detective version of Broadway. Looking all over the place for him, but I've got all the rest of them so far, including a few here that are up on the ceiling flying down and around at us. Now on the second shelf, remember this is miscellaneous, so we got some Jack Bauer in here in the shadow. You're going to see a lot more Masters of the Universe in the center of the room, but we've got a little bit of it here. Turtles are kind of all over the place. Here's some of the Mondo versions, quarter scale. Ghostbusters are mostly in the middle of the room, but these are the Mattel quarter scale, or 6 scale ones, and those are here, kind of separate. There's Hit Girl and Kick-Ass, both from Medicom and from Mezco. And there in the back, we have a Captain Action and Dr. Evil. Those were mine as a kid. Those are my originals. And then we have some more recent additions to that in front. That's a Flat World Phantom, along with the dog, Devil, I believe his name was, that we never produced. Down here we have the Criminals row, including that terrific Jax and Clay back here. Pop Culture Shock did those. They were a nice set. People did not appreciate them the way they should have. Wish we would gotten some more stuff from them. They were going to do McCready, and I thought they were going to do American Werewolf for London, and we never got that stuff. Another Bruce Lee mixed in back, and some more Criminals. Here we got Breaking Bad and The Godfather. It's always been some great Godfather figures. I happen to like this one quite a bit. And we get into some more iconic movie characters, including Marilyn Monroe. Even the Big Lebowski. Sideshow gave us some great stuff. The quality wasn't always really great, but come on, who else is going to get smart figures? And we finish up with some more Bruce Lee down here. He's going to pop up again before we're done. Now we come down the row, get some Michael Jackson. You saw Michael Jackson before over in with the Zombies. Here he is with some of his musical colleagues, including John Lennon. And there's another Bruce Lee, just hanging out, getting some sun. Hot Toys, early Hot Toys, when they did the Rocky line. Some Highlander from Sideshow. And some James Bond from Sideshow. Now this was a really deep line. They did lots of villains, lots of versions of Bond. I don't have every one they did. I would like to pick up Tee-Hee because that would kind of complete my villain set. And there's 1 or 2 Bonds I wouldn't mind coming up with as well, just to kind of round things out. Down on this bottom row down here, we've got some Austin Powers stuff. The 3 Veronica Mars busts. That's the only collectibles I know of for Veronica Mars. They aren't very good, but when you're the only ones, what are you going to do? Some more kick-ass figures. NECA took a swing at those. And, of course, more of the Austin Powers, including some McFarlane stuff. I'm hoping we see NECA continue the boys line now that Season 4 is out. Unfortunately, I don't think they will, but it would be nice if they did. We get down here into some more Turtles. And the bottom set of course, was the box set that NECA did first, and then above it is a San Diego Comic-Con, where Eastman and Laird signed it. Oh, and then we finish up down here with a couple of rows of The Watchmen. And some live action Tick. Oh, down below, oh, we got some DC stuff here mixed in, a little Marvel, kind of overflow from the blue section. But then we get into some Highlander, and then, of course, several Lego sets, including Seinfeld and Flintstones and The Big Bang Theory. One of the carded, or not carded, but boxed Mattel Ghostbusters, some various cars from different movies, including the Blues Brothers, some more of the McFarlane. Well, those are the 9-inch Austin Powers. That Flash Gordon gun there in front, that is really cool. That's the gun that sparks. Little Hunger Games, so you get down here towards the end and you start to slide into the science fiction stuff. So that takes care of the wall. What about the tower? Likewise, you're going to have some sliding back and forth here because there is some mixture with both science fiction and Western stuff, but we'll talk about the miscellaneous as much as possible, starting with Hellboy as we come down around here with quarter scale stuff. Now, this is from Mezco, their quarter scale stuff. I love that comic book version. We slide across. We've shown all of that stuff in our science fiction stuff before. And down here we have, remember before the Four Horsemen got into the mythic legions here, we had the Seventh Kingdom. Lots of animals. There's some more elephants back there. This is some of the carded stuff. Coming around here, we have the ladies carded. And you're going to see a bunch of that loose as well. Always in the miscellaneous section and lots of Christmas stuff. So we have Year Without Santa Claus and some Rudolph, Nightmare Before Christmas. Plenty more of that on the shelf as we come down around. Here we have some PVC figures as well as some UNESCO ornaments that happen to be in scale with the PVC. So I've got a nice set all in this Santa's workshop play set that fit the scale nicely. I didn't mention Matrix, I don't think, when I was doing science fiction. But since we're going to be doing some Spawn stuff here, including a couple of these really cool Spawns up on this shelf that I like, might as well mention them. When you come all the way down around, we're going to skip all this Planet of the Apes because we talked about that before. And just point out that up on top we had a couple of these Marx astronauts. And there we have some more quarter scale. Those are Thundercats. These were done by Mezco. They did quite a few of them. Here's some more on this shelf that are loose. And another box set in back. And in front there's the Thundar, the Barbarian figures. Another terrific line. We'll slide down this way. We've shown most of these. But, of course, like I said, I don't know that I talked about Matrix before. There's some more of the Matrix figures from McFarlane. And we get into the Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, I did a favorite collection video at some point on the Nightmare Before Christmas, and certainly generally the Christmas stuff. So hunt that one up and you'll be able to look at these in more detail. I'll talk a little bit more about both the Diamond Select versions and the NECA versions that were produced. But they are part of the miscellaneous section and they take up pretty much an entire shelf there in this section. When we come down around, we get into one of my favorite collections, the 112 Collective, of course. Now, again, if you want these more up close and personal, a slower, more methodical video, check out the favorite collection. There's actually 3 videos. This is the unlicensed, or this is the licensed stuff, sorry. Then we get down here into the Gomez Rumble Society stuff, which I consider the unlicensed. They're in-house property. And there's a video separately for those. I'm going to go back across down there. So you get to see each row. And then, not in this video, but there is another video when I do the center. We'll get into the DC and the Marvel stuff. That's all over in the center of the room. And there is another separate video for those. in the favorite collections videos. I love this line. I'm pretty complete. I'm missing a couple DC. I have all the Marvel. And I'm missing probably a half dozen of the Gomez Rumble Society stuff. They were the hardest always to get. They would drop them at the weirdest times. Another one hanging up here. Some more Hellboy and Judge Dredd, which you could technically put into science fiction, I suppose, if you wanted as well. Whoops. Don't need to be zooming in there. Some more Hellboy down here. Misc did a nice job with it. They weren't the only ones, but they did a really nice job. As well as Judge Dredd. Those two Hellboy figures are the Hot Toys versions that they did. As always, the problem for Hot Toys is they tend to not go very deep. Here's some Power Rangers. I've had to move some of my 112 is going to start to flow down here onto this shelf. So we've got the G.I. Joe stuff together. We're going to put the Power Rangers down here. And we have Turtles. The new set, that's the cartoon Turtles. And then, of course, the first set they did together. Also on this list, we have some H.R. Puffin stuff, along with some of the other characters from those cartoon series. The Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. Some Jetsons. Come down around this side, and we start to get these really cool Hanna-Barbera sets. There's the Johnny Quest set is one of my favorites. But Magilla Gorilla. These were some that were done by McFarlane. He had some fun with this stuff. Now, got some unproduced stuff in the prototype section here. This Eddie. I don't recall who was doing these. I think it was either Resource or might have been, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who it might have been. Might have been Artist Island doing them. Never ended up getting produced though. Here we have a couple of hard copies. This is from the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang series. And we get back in there. There's some more of that H.R. Puffin stuff, Sid and Marty Krofft stuff, including a carded Sigmund Sea Monster back there. We've got some more of these sets here. The Flintstones, of course. Yogi Bear. These were McFarlane. And we drop down and look at some of the Space Ghost stuff. Come around this way. And we finish up with a little Underdog over here on this shelf. Now I'm going to talk about Spawn in the miscellaneous. I know some people would have them in some other section, but I've got them in miscellaneous, and I've got a whole lot of it still. I got rid of a whole lot of it, and you'll see it kind of evolves through here, starting with those very early figures. And we'll get into more recent stuff. But I don't have super recent stuff. Like I said, I've kind of gotten rid of most of it. Now we're getting into some Four Horsemen stuff. These ladies never stand up. I mean, seriously, keeping them standing is just exercise in futility. Excuse me. More Seventh Kingdom as we're coming down along. You'll notice that these have different heads. They usually came with a couple of different heads. I tried to mix and match to make it most interesting as I could on the shelf. Some Heroes. And then we get back down this way into some more Spawn. Now this is, I said that I haven't been picking up too much of the new Spawn. You will see one set here that is one of the newer sets. And I had to pick it up. It was only like, $10 at Target. I couldn't pass it up on clearance. That was Sam and Twitch. They're going to be down here on this shelf. And you'll notice past Savage Dragon here, we have some Sam and Twitch that are new. Like I said, they're on sale for like $10. Couldn't say no to that. This is after Toy Biz got out of the business of Marvel. They did some of these other comic book heroes. And then we finish up on this shelf with a little more Four Horsemen. Now, I'm pretty sure I talked about astronauts when I did the science fiction section, but there's just some more astronauts back over there. I wanted to make sure I covered them, including a talking G.I. Joe from 1968. Down on this shelf, we have some more Spawn. In back, you don't have to really worry. That's Star Trek stuff. I showed that in one of the other Star Trek videos, favorite collections. Here we have Street Fighter. I got rid of most of these. This was a fantastic line, but I did hang on to a few that I really liked. This is from Soda. Did a beautiful job with that. A little more Spawn, and down here we have my favorite Spawn, the animated style figures. I think they did a really great job with these. And there's a couple of variants I still have to pick up to finish my collection. But they're not hard to get. We'll come down around and talk about some Christmas figures again. Plenty of different Christmas figures from Praying Mantis, along with, you'll see those Year Without Santa Claus toys that are from Palisades. We've got plenty of Rudolph, including that terrific Bumble back there. And then when we come around this end, we've got Frosty the Snowman over there in the corner, as well as Mickey's Christmas Carol stuff. Plenty of those. And some wonderful Easter Bunny. Peter Cottontail figures. Those are Diamond Select. Now, down here we have a couple of things. I've talked Twilight Zone, but there's some Big Bang Theory in front of those. Down here we have various Christmas Santa Claus figures. And behind them we've got those Dime Store Legends. I started to collect those. There's a whole lot more than the handful I've got there. I actually stopped myself because I thought, you know what, I can see where this is going. I have to have a little self-control. But they are really great figures. If you're into Western figures in that 4-inch scale, I highly recommend those. McFarlane did some nice Grinch stuff. When we come down over on this side, you will see we've got some where the wild things are. I definitely count those in my miscellaneous. Some more Hellboy in back. Elf, who's more technically sci-fi. The other Elf is in the sci-fi video along with E.T. But that one's over here on this shelf. And he's the San Diego Comic-Con version. And a few more Hellboy figures from a couple of different companies. Across the bottom down here we have Spawn Game. We have some really cool art. This is some of the old Twilight Zone. All of these pictures in that relate to the Twilight Zone episodes. QMX did some of these really great posters for Star Trek. I've got some hanging in different spots. There's a nice Mezco bag. Now, I almost missed this shelf up here. I don't want to do that. I mentioned Tron, I'm pretty sure. That's the Hot Toys Tron when I did the science fiction section. But here we have various Spawn figures. Got to stop hitting that zoom button. That's annoying. And down around this way, I have one of the coolest things in the entire Institute that I love. Remember these figures. This is from Mezco. They produced this version of Captain Nemo. This was the Wave Rider. And they produced this version over here. Came in as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea playset. In front here we also have some 112 Collective that made sense to me. These are the figures from that kind of fit in with this. As a matter of fact, you'll notice that that Wave Rider was reused here. That mold was reused for the 112 Collective. But what's really cool here is the 2-ups. So here is the Wave Rider figure. Here is the 2-up that was produced for that from the sculptor with the original paint master. As you can see how huge that Wave Rider is, complete with a base for it. There are some other prototype pieces. These are the 2-ups of some of the weapons. And then there are some of the smaller pieces here. Some of the hard copies for some of the figures. And then here we have, for the other Nemo, here are all of the various accessories that came with that figure, all done in 2-up as well. So you can see the different pieces, including the ladder back there, that came with that guy. Isn't that cool? It's one of my favorite prototypes. Even though it's a produced prototype, being a 2-up like that just really stands out. You don't get to have those too much. And nowadays, with everything being 3D printed, collecting prototypes is a lot less exciting. So there we go. Miscellaneous section. Pink. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to see collection videos on more specific things, check out some of my other videos. I may do some more collection videos that cover some of the stuff that I haven't so far in that section. Let's see. Until next time on Friday, we are going to do a acquisition report this week. So make sure you subscribe, and I hope you have a terrific week. Stay cool.